The whole time I was watching the Odyssey, I was like, it's not a big deal. I did that. I remember that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to take a moment to celebrate season 2. Looking back, what was a moment that you are particularly proud of?
I'm really proud of the whole Scylla and Charybdis sequence and the ironclad. Like, all of that came together so well. And I was really proud of it, in particular while watching the Odyssey. Because I was like, we did a good job. I really liked, how our stuff turned out. The Odyssey was amazing. Obviously, it was.
But ours also was pretty great.
Yeah, the whole time I was watching the Odyssey, I was like, it's not a big deal. I did that. I remember that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have like the coolest picture of you on the helm of the boat, like getting blasted with water next to the Son of Neptune book cover.
Yeah, that's, oh my God, yeah.
But I loved all the scenes I got to do with Alex, our Polyphemus. He's such a generous actor, and he makes like just trying things really easy.
Yeah, I remember your first day in season 2, and I feel like right off the bat you came in and you just like owned it, Like you seem like very like comfortable and at home already.
I came into this role in season 2 completely respecting the fact that the fans had their own view. What I have tried to do since day one is build off of the back of what Rick has written and created in Thalia and just do more world building. There was a lot that I did to consider the fans, and that meant pulling from a lot of Pinterest boards that they had created themselves in terms of costume and hair and makeup, keeping them in mind. I think their opinion is so important. I think that young women who felt empowered by Thalia in the books, I want them to feel the same thing when they watch me in the show. I want them to feel Thalia is very separate from T, the person, and that I have created a person that they can be inspired and look up to and feel like stands up for them.
Luke is such a complex character, and I feel like every season he's almost like a different character, which makes him such an interesting character and such a fun character for me to play. I feel like I just said character 20 times. He's gone through some very relatable things. He's lost a lot of people in his life, and I think people can potentially see themselves in Luke a little bit. Maybe not the backstabbing of the friends part, but even though his actions are very questionable sometimes, like he has the right idea. Season 2, he was sort of like Kronos' right-hand man, but towards the end of season 2, Kronos kind of puts him in his place a little bit, and I feel like that power dynamic is really established there, and I feel like we see a bit more of that this season. It's been demoted a little bit.
Tell us a little bit about some of the stunt work you had to do to prepare for this season. I heard you were quite the archer. Is this correct?
Yes, it is. I learned it for the first time, but I didn't use actual arrows for a while. But then they took us to like an indoor archery range.
I went.
Yeah, you were there too. Him and Arian, and I almost got a bullseye. I got like 3 in the area right around it. My first time using actual arrows, which I'm pretty proud of.
Me and Olive both, we went and we did like, it was like an obstacle course basically. They had like set up for us like in the very beginning. Basically, I think to kind of like analyze like our physical abilities and like, that was really fun because it was just like an obstacle course that you would like do in school or something. It was really fun.
Can we talk about some of the work that you do with the water, both like getting splashed in your face, but also underwater?
Yeah, my God, my scenes underwater.
These underwater scenes are ridiculous.
They're so difficult.
With the underwater stuff, after 5 hours, you just can't open your eyes anymore because it's like the chlorine. I think the most difficult scenes aren't the underwater ones. They're the ones where I'm standing in the ocean, or we did a scene where I was standing in the ocean and I like dive in a couple times, and it was a freezing day and the water was cold. And like, those are the days that are like, I really wish I was the son of Zeus or something.
And they never give you shoes with any grip.
It's always like the Vans, and I love Vans. I always wear Vans, but just like a smooth bottom. And it's just like, I'm diving off like a slippery rock every time.
Was there a particular ritual that you loved on set with the cast?
Before every take, this is like probably the biggest one. Everyone goes quest.
First, you gotta jump up and down a little.
Yeah. You have to like jump and like you have to blow out your lips and you have to like
shake it out.
Shake around.
Then
and you have to be like quest.
It has a moment of connection before doing a scene, and like it kind of helps you just loosen up a little bit.
Like lock into the quest.
Yeah. Definitely.
Have you guys talked about like dream casting each other in the MCU?
Ooh.
I mean, obviously,
Bring the X-Men, if they do an X-Men reboot.
we were talking about perfect Nightcrawler.
I have experience with the ears and the feet.
He does. I mean, he has to like do like kind of creature work all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be as good as James Marsden, but I would totally do Cyclops. I feel like that'd be pretty awesome.
And we can't leave out Leah. Who would she be?
Oh, we talked about this.
We talked about this.
We all talked about Storm.
Yeah, she'd be a great Storm.
Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Storm.
Yeah.
Perfect. You got your X-Men.
Kevin Feige, please. We love you.
Please, Kevin Feige.
I would be a great Nightcrawler.
I know that one time we had that awkward interaction where I followed you around the party with my hand on your back for like 20 minutes, but forget about that.
I don't think you remembered actually.
You don't remember that until I brought that. Maybe that's not a good part to bring up.